Okay, thank you so much. Now I'm able to share it. Okay. So yesterday we have discussed about Arduino board. So over there we just worked on some program that how we have used it. So few more things that I'm going to discuss over here that is very important to understand it. So first of all, three parts we have discussed. First one part is physical hardware, then environment, IDE, then community. So these are boards I have discussed that these boards you can use it for different applications like making small cost effective project, making anything on the cloth also. I mean, if you want to deploy a project on the clothes, that also you can use it. So that also you can do it. So these are some programming syntax I shared with you. These are few components that I shared with you yesterday, and these are buzzers. So then after that we have discussed about Ohm's law, voltage, current, how it is being flowing. So then breadboard is very easy to understand. Like you can see all the internal connection of breadboard. So that also we can use it. This one already we have discussed, resistance already we have discussed. So I'm just revising it over here. Then after that I'm coming to new topic. So this one is a potentiometer. So this one is a push button over here that yesterday we have discussed about that pull up and pull down. So with the help of that we did one project. So now we are going to do some advance over here, like if you want to interface temperature sensor, that also you can do it. Yes. So if you want to perform any kind of IoT applications, so first of all, what you have to do, you have to acquire sensor data. That is very important part. Maximum time we are missing that part. Then only after acquiring the data from the sensor in microcontroller, then we have to send that data on the cloud. That is second part. So we are just doing that acquiring data part. That is one of the toughest part. Maximum time participant and the student used to miss that part, and they are just directly going to jump on the cloud part, and they will not able to interface sensor in a proper way. So yes, these are electricity concept, basic concept, construction of the circuit. So today I'm going to discuss about voltage divider rule and their applications, that where we can use that voltage divider rule and what are the application of that voltage divider rule. Yesterday we have discussed this one कि आपका pull up क्या होता है, what is pull up and what is pull down resistor. So this one is PWM. But before discussing PWM, first of all I will discuss with you voltage divider rule. So let me share with you another PPT. Be with me. I'm going to share with you new PPT. Be with me. So I'm going to open that PPT. Okay, wait for a second.
Sir, any issue
Yes.
in connecting?
Yes. Now I'm just sharing with you PPT. I'm just
Okay.
finding a very important part over there that I want to discuss. Yes. Okay. So let's get started with that voltage divider rule and how it is working. So this one I want to share with you. So potentiometer. So when we are going to connect potentiometer, how potentiometer is working, that is very much important. That how we have to use that potentiometer, and what is voltage divider concept, that I want to share with you, that why we are going to discuss it over here. The reason behind that, when we have to use any kind of resistive sensor, so when we are going to use any kind of resistive sensor, we have to use this voltage divider rule. So if we are not going to connect any kind of this voltage divider rule or this resistance, if we are not going to connect with the sensor, then this that sensor will not get interface with the microcontroller. Mean 70% of the sensor in the market and for different IoT applications, you will find that will be based on resistive sensor. So how you can interface that resistive sensor? Yesterday I told you about one LDR. LDR is also light dependent resistor. So that is also resistive type of sensor. So how you can interface any kind of resistive sensor? So this one is a voltage divider rule over here. So in this voltage divider rule, what is the meaning of it? So I'm going to share with you over here. Yes. So in this, that what will be the formula for voltage divider rule? So I'm not going to discuss that theoretical part over here. I'm just directly going to share with you that formula. That is V output. V output is equal to V supply into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So this one is formula for that voltage divider rule. So R1 plus R2. Let me make it okay. So this one is a voltage divider formula, voltage divider rule formula, that V output we are going to get from over here. This one is a V supply. This one is my V supply. From over here I'm just giving, that is V supply. So I'm getting output over here, that is V output. So that I'm going to get it over here. So over here you can see the how output you can calculate. This one is R1, this one is R2. These are two resistance over here, R1 and R2. So how you can change output voltage? So what are the mode of changing output voltage? Either there is one option is that you can use any kind of voltage regulator. Like if you want to convert 12 volt supply to 9 volt, so what you can use? You can use voltage regulator. With the help of that, you can regulate your voltage. But if you want to only sense voltage, or if you no need a too much amount of current, then you can use this voltage divider rule and you can get output that is variable also. So in this potentiometer, same concept is working. Same concept is working. Now you can see, just pause. I'm just giving you few hints, like if V supply is, this supply voltage is, just take it 9 volt. With this supply voltage, I'm just taking it 9 volt. 9 volt. So if R1 and R2 value is equal, what will be the output voltage? Now you have to tell me. If R1 and R2 is equal, so what will be the output voltage? Condition, what is condition? I'm writing R1 is equal to R2. So what will be the output voltage? What will be the output voltage? That you have to tell me. Now you have to tell me what will be the output voltage when R1 and R2 is equal. Yes, very good, very good. You all are so much genius. Yes, that's great. So that output will be half of supply voltage. Very good. So now a few more assumptions I'm going to do over here in this voltage divider rule. If what I'm going to do, R1 I'm just going to take it 1 ohm, and R2 I'm going to take it 1 ohm. That is ohm. Don't get confused about it. R1 is equal to 1 ohm and R2 is equal to 1 ohm. What output we are going to get now? So what will be output right now? So one R1 value is 1 ohm and R2 value is also 1 ohm. What will be the output? 4.5 volt. Very good, very good. 4.5 volt. Very good. All are responding very quickly. Okay. Okay. So one more condition I'm just going to take it over here. If R1 value is equal to 100, let's take 100 mega ohm, and R2 value is also 100 mega ohm. So what will be the output now? If R1 value is 100 mega ohm and R2 value is also 100 mega ohm, so what will be the output? Yes, you all are so much genius. Yes, but both the answer over here that you have explained, both the answer is wrong. Both the answer is wrong. So in these conditions or in these conditions, both the answer is wrong. So okay, both the answer is wrong. How it is wrong? Because according to calculation, it is absolutely right. According to calculation, it is absolutely right. But when we talk about practically, it is wrong. So why it is wrong? Can anyone explain it? Why it is wrong? Why it will not come 4.5 volt at the output? I will show you practically also. I will show you practically that how it is working. So now you have to tell me that why I'm saying it is wrong. Maybe I can also may be wrong. So let's check it practically that how it is working, and then after that we will come to the potentiometer. No, it's no nothing like that. So 100 ohm resistance will not allow any current. It will allow more current. It's not like that. That is wrong. This wrong detail or wrong description over here. Resistance are equal, then we have to get output according to formula. That should be half of supply voltage. Okay, so that is interesting part that I'm going to discuss with you, that practically things that I'm going to tell you. Okay, let's see, let's get started on the Tinkercad. Okay, let me open Tinkercad. Yes, so this one is our Tinkercad. So resistance are equal, that is not a solution for that. Resistance are equal means we have to get output should be half. So let me open it again. Tinkercad.com. So this one is my Tinkercad. You can do sign in over there, a same step we did it. So now go to circuit, and over there you have to create a new circuit. So today we are going to discuss about voltage divider rule. Maximum time student used to do mistake in voltage divider rule. So how you can make it? So I'm going to make it like this. And this one is the backbone of any kind of sensor designing. So if you are going to make any kind of smart IoT based applications, so for that what you have to do, you have to understand all the resistance and their voltage divider rule working and how we have to use it, so that you can design your circuit very cost effective. So might be you have seen some Chinese product and some Chinese circuit or some IoT devices. So they are making their product so much cost effective. Why it is so? Because they are having a deep understanding of concepts. So that is very important part. So and second thing is that they are having understanding of practical concept rather than only theory. They are having understanding of practical concept. That's why they are able to make a product according to requirement. So yes. So mean according to customer requirement, they are making cost effective product. So if we have to build our country self-sustainable, self-dependent, so we have to work out in a practical approach, and we have to follow that practical approach, so that whenever we are going to learn anything, whenever we are going to build anything, that can be cost effective and that can be sustainable also. Both things we have to take care. So now I'm going to connect these two resistance. So after that we have to connect some battery. So I'm going to connect my power supply or 9 volt battery, because I have used 9 volt battery over there. You can rotate it. So I'm going to make same connection so that you can visualize it. This one is positive. I have connected it. This one is negative. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my multimeter for getting output. So output we have to take from this point. So I'm going to denote it over here. This one is R1. This one is R1. Okay. And this one is also, this one is R2 resistance. So there should not be any kind of confusions. So R1 and R2. Okay, so from over here, what we have to do it, we have to take output. Output means we have to check with multimeter. So I'm going to connect my multimeter over here. So this one is negative. The negative we have to connect with the negative. So this one is negative. You can connect over here, or you can connect with this terminal also. That you can do it. So this one is negative. So after that, this one is positive. So this one is my positive. So positive I have connected with the output. Now what we have to do it, we have to check output is coming or not. And now we have to check with the value also. So that value I'm going to take it over here. Just take this value to 1 ohm first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it 1 ohm, and this one also I'm going to take it 1 ohm. Okay. So this one was the statement over there, R1 and R2 both values 1 ohm. Supply voltage is 9 volt. Now we have to check output. Output should be 4.5 volt according to your calculations. That should be 4.5 volt according to our calculations. So let's see, I'm going to check it starting simulation. How much it is coming? It is coming, that is, that output is coming, that is 2.57. But our desired output according to calculation, that should be 4.5 volt. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change that value again to 100 mega ohm. So let me make it 100 mega ohm. And this one also I'm going to take it 100 mega ohm. 100 mega ohm. Okay. So both the value I just took 100 mega ohm and 100 mega ohm. R1 is 100 mega ohm and R2 is also 100 mega ohm. So according to our calculations, it should show that 4.5 volt at the output. Is it so? Let's see. Let's start simulation. So now it is showing 3 volt. So there is huge difference between 3 volt and 4.5 volt. So why it is so? That is very important. That is very important. So why it is showing that 3 volt, not exact value, how it is happening, so that I'm going to tell you. First thing is that when we are going to use this voltage divider rule, we have to take care that this circuit should be optimum. Optimum means the current flow in the circuit, that should be optimum. Optimum current flow in the circuit. Optimum, what meaning of that optimum? Mean if there is very small current flowing in the circuit, then also voltage is not get divided properly. If there is a high amount of current is flowing, then also this proper voltage is not divided properly. So how it is happening? Just see it. So now in this circuit, very small amount of current is flowing in the circuit. So it will not able to detect proper voltage drop. So that's why it's coming 3 volt, because that resistance value is too much high now. When resistance value is high, then very small amount of current will be flow over there. So very small amount of current means very negligible current. So how you can check that current? You can check it your current also with this multimeter. You can verify it with practically. So I'm going to use this multimeter to connect it. Okay. So now check the current. So how you can check current? So for checking current, you have to click on multimeter, this A part, A emitter. So I'm going to click on emitter, and you have to connect multimeter in a series. Now you can see how much current is flowing in the circuit. Simulation is running. So how much current is flowing? current is flowing 0 milliampere, no current is flowing in the circuit. If there is no current flowing in the circuit, so how voltage will get divided? So this circuit will not get complete properly and you will not get proper voltage at the output. So that I told you, you can see it practically also. Now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to change that value to 1 ohm, and now we are going to check it what is happening on 1 ohm value. This one also I'm going to take it 1 ohm. Now what is happening? The current flowing in the circuit is that is 2.5 ampere. 2.5 ampere. It means what is happening? Maximum current flowing in the circuit means if the resistance value is very less, what is happening? This battery will get short circuited. So this battery working as a short circuit means that resistance value is very small. So this battery is working as a short circuit and high current is flowing in the circuit. So when high current is flowing in the circuit, so what is happening? Your battery voltage get dropped. Your battery voltage get dropped. Might be you have seen at your home also. Sometime what is happening? Sometimes what is happening when you are going to run any kind of high current rating appliance at your home, any kind of induction motor or any kind of air conditions, what is happening? Your voltage is fluctuating means your voltage is dropping and after some time it will get stable. So why that is happening? Because you are going to put heavy load. So heavy load, that appliance is consuming more current. So like when we talk about induction motor, so induction motor is consuming more current during starting state. So what is happening over there? If any appliance is consuming more current and if that current is higher than that battery rating, so what is happening? That voltage of that battery will get dropped. So that is happening over here when resistance value is very less. So how you can check it? So I'm going to show you that voltage also at this battery. Check it. Okay, I'm going to connect my battery positive and negative. I'm going to connect with this. So I want to check my battery voltage. Now you can see it. So supply voltage is 9 volt, but it is showing only 5.14 volt. Why? Because due to high current flow in the circuit, my voltage will get dropped. So it's showing output of this voltage. This voltage half value it is showing, that you can see it. That is exact half of this. So my voltage get dropped due to high current flow in this circuit. So we have to maintain the circuit. A optimum current should flow in that circuit so that we can make a voltage divider with accuracy. So what should be the optimum range of resistance? With the help of that, we can make a voltage divider rule. So that I'm going to tell you that that range is 1K to 50K. 1K to 50K ohm resistance value you can use in your voltage divider. Then you will get accurate reading at the output. So accurate reading you will get when you are going to use this range of resistance. So that also you have to take it. That is practical part that you will not find in your books. That you will not find in your books. That is practical things when you are going to work in industry. Then you will get the meaning of their values. So one, you have to divide any circuit, and if you are going to use 1 ohm resistance, your battery will get drained in a very short time because high current is flowing over here. High current is flowing over here. So how to decide resistance? That I told you. This one is the optimum range. So how to decide that which value out of this you have to use it? First things, that if you want to use this circuit for a sensor, so you have to use maximum value of that resistance, that is 50K. 50K or 40K maximum value you can use it, because when you are going to use high resistance, less current will be flow in the circuit and your sensor will be low energy device, mean your sensor will consume very less energy. So that that is optimum circuit you can make with the help of that, so that you can use it 40K to 50K resistance value you can use it over here. So that range I told you for a sensor or for IoT applications, 40K you can take it, 10K also you can take it. But when you are going to take 40K, so your battery consumption, current consumption will be run and the current will be optimum for getting output also. That also you can check it out. Let's make it make it 50K, 50K kilo ohm. So 50 kilo ohm. You can check it practically also. So this one is also I'm going to make it 50 kilo ohm. 50 kilo ohm. So both are having 50 kilo ohm resistance. So now you can say how output you are getting, how much output you are getting, exactly 4.5 volt. That was desired, and very small amount of current is flowing in microampere. Minus is indicating because we have connected multimeter in a reverse polarity. That's why it's showing minus. So no need to worry about minus sign. So that you can see it. So at 50K you are getting 4.5 volt. Exactly. So if you are going to second things, so when you are going to use that output voltage with, for operating some load, if you want to use that voltage for operating some load, so what you can do it? So if you are going to operate this voltage for some loading operations, so over here, one second. Yes. So what is happening? Okay, over here, mean when you are going to get some output over here and going to run any appliance. As example, I'm just going to share with you, like if you want to run any motors or any LED if you want to glow, so this current is very less over here when you are going to use 50K. So in 50K rating, current is microampere. So you are not getting 20 milliampere for LED. So if you are going to connect one LED over here and with resistance, so that voltage is 4.45 and requirement for LED is 2 volt. This one is ground. So I have connected the LED at the output. So now you can see output you are getting, but voltage you are getting, but LED is not glowing because that proper current is not over there. You can make it in a ohm, 1 ohm also, or you can remove that resistance also. Okay, let me check the connections. Okay, I can made wrong connections over here. This one is negative and this one is positive. Okay, so let me check it now. So LED is glowing with very less intensity, but we have used only 1 ohm resistance over here. So the voltage also got dropped. You can see voltage also got dropped because you are going to run any appliance. If you are going to run any appliance with that output voltage, so that you have to design it that how much current is required. So now I'm going to reduce it. So I'm going to make it 10K, and both I'm going to make it 10K. 10K, and after that we have to increase that value also, resistance value, make it 1000. So there is some voltage drop due to that LED, but it is working, some current is coming, so you can reduce it more, 10K to make it 1K. According to your output load, you have to select it that how you have to make it. So this one is on 1K, and you can increase that value 10K. Yes. So LED brightness is still low. So again, you can make it more or less if you want to run your appliance. So if you want to run your appliance, so I'm going to make it in a ohm. Make it 100. Sorry, make it 500 or 500. You can take it. This one also you can make it 500. Okay. So now you can see this one is coming because when you are going to make a voltage divider, so your appliance you will not operate too much heavy load. You can use some LED or something like that, small appliance, you can use it over there because you are dividing it. So if you are going to use any heavy appliance over there, then you have to take it value very less. So make it 10 ohm. I'm just going to reduce it too much to check it out practically. So now output is coming 4.17 एंड माई वोल्टेज इज ड्रॉपिंग फ्रॉम दिस साइड. तो यहाँ से भी आपका वोल्टेज ड्रॉप होना स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. माई वोल्टेज इज ड्रॉपिंग फ्रॉम दिस साइड. So you have to increase that voltage, and you have to take care about your LED, that how much rating of your appliance you are going to use it, and this signal, that output voltage we are getting, we have to use it as a signal, not any current rating appliance. Mean not no need to use it for running any load. So that only we have to use it for sensing any signal. So that's why we are calling it a voltage divider rule, and voltage resistive type sensor we are going to use it over here. Yes. So again, the range, general range for a sensor is 10 kilo ohm to 50 kilo ohm for IoT application, and optimum range for IoT devices or sensor you can make it 50K, so that you can use it 50 kilo ohm or 10 kilo ohm. So that is optimum range that you can select it. So over there you will get exact 4.5 volt, and current is flowing 450 microampere. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to use it with the LDR sensor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it variable. So if I'm going to change that value to 10K to 5K, so what is happening, my output voltage is changing. So if I'm going to make a one variable resistor over here, so what is happening? If R1 and R2 both are variable, so what is happening, that you can visualize over here, and how potentiometer is working, that also you can visualize. So let me come back to that potentiometer. Yes. Over here you can see it. In this potentiometer, R1 and R2 are variable. So this one is a potentiometer. So over here you can see it. So when we are going to use the potentiometer, so it will be look like this. This one is our resistance, and this one is variable resistor over here. So this one is the output, we are going to get output over here, and this one is variable. So this value is changing. So just pause it. A potentiometer is, this one is a slider. A potentiometer is at starting position over here. So this knob is at starting position, means this one is a ground, this one is 5 volt, this one is 5. Okay. So the potentiometer is at this position. The potentiometer is at this position. What will be the output voltage? You have to tell me. What will be the output voltage? One potentiometer is, that output knob is at this point. Now you have to tell me. So what will be the output? One supply voltage is 5 volt, and one knob of that potentiometer is at this starting state. So what will be the output? 5 volt. Very good. Very good. That is 5 volt. Okay. Now I'm going to rotate my potentiometer from this point to this point. So now I'm at this point. At this point, what will be the output voltage? What will be the output voltage at this point? That you have to tell you now. At this point. So we have slided it, and we have reached at this point. So what will be the output? Yes, very good. So that output voltage will be over here. That is 0 volt, because we are sliding it. So this potentiometer we are sliding from like this point to this point. So at starting point over here we are getting 5 volt, and this point we are getting 0 volt. So that we have to take care, that how we have to use it. If we are going to use that polarity reverse, I mean this one is ground, this one is 5 volt, then potentiometer will start working clockwise also. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use potentiometer now, and after that we are coming on the Arduino, and we are going to interface that sensor with the Arduino. Yes. So over here, in replacement of this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make variable output, and I'm going to use potentiometer. So over here you can take this potentiometer. There are 3 terminals. So this one is terminal 1. I'm going to connect it with 5 volt. This one is the ground terminal. And after that, this one is the output wiper. So the wiper, I have connected it. So after that, you can start simulations. So after starting simulations, you will be able to see output is coming at this point, supply equal to supply voltage. Now I'm going to rotate it. So you can see voltage is changing. Voltage is changing from 0 to maximum, and you can make your voltage variable. So there is no voltage drop over here because proper resistance is being used in this potentiometer. That value also you can see it. So that value is 250 kilo ohm. That is potentiometer value, that variable resistor value. So mean you can use this potentiometer also like this. So now I'm coming back to over here to that previous circuit. Yes. In this circuit, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my LDR. So this one is an application of this circuit. So where we are going to use that voltage divider, this one is applications. So you can replace with this or this, anyone you can do it. So I'm going to replace with this resistance with this LDR. Because LDR is also variable resistor. So how this LDR is working, that also you can check it separately. So I'm going to show you separately that how this LDR is working. So you can connect this LDR with the multimeter. Let me connect it. I'm going to measure that resistance value of this LDR. So you can see it, this one is both terminal are bipolar, you can use any one, there is no polarity. So over there I'm going to connect it, yes, then after that start simulations. So how you will measure that resistance of this sensor? So this sensor resistance we have to measure, and we have to see that how resistance of the sensor is changing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on R. With the R we will able to measure resistance. So over here what we can do, we can see the value is coming over here, that is 180 kilo ohm. So let me move it little bit, yes. So now I'm going to start simulation. Now you can see it is at darkness, at full darkness. So how LDR sensor is working? LDR sensor is working based on light intensity. It is working based on light intensity that is available in the environment. If the light intensity means, if there is darkness, full darkness, the resistance value will be 180 kilo ohm. Or as we are going to increase brightness in the sensor, what is happening? That resistance value is increasing, decreasing, and up to 506 ohm. At full brightness, resistance value is 506, and full darkness, that value is 180 kilo ohm. That you can see it over here in a very simple way. Okay. So that variable resistance we have to use it. But when we have to read this value of this LDR sensor, mean if we have to detect light intensity in microcontroller, how we will read it? Because microcontroller cannot read directly resistance value, and 70% of sensors are resistive type, as I told you. So how microcontroller going to read that sensor signal? Because the microcontroller always understand values, and the values in the format of the signal. Microcontroller reading values in the signal in the format of signal, that signal should be in voltage format, not in a resistance format. So any microcontroller cannot read directly resistance. So what we have to do, we have to use that voltage divider, and we have to put that sensor in between like this, so that we can, as we are going to change that resistance, so our output voltage will get changed, and that voltage we can measure in the Arduino, and we can calibrate it. So that I want to use it over here. Let's see how we can use this sensor. Over here what I'm going to do, so this one I have replaced R1 with I replaced R1 with my LDR. So this one is my LDR over here. I replaced R1 with LDR, and R2 value is same. I just took 10 kilo ohm. So let's see the output. So now I have to check my output. So what output is we are getting? So negative, I'm going to connect with negative. Positive, I'm getting output at the positive rate. So now you can see it. 474 millivolt output we are getting. So now what I'm going to do, I'm clicking on this resistance and this sensor LDR. I'm going to increase my brightness. Now you can see my voltage is increasing. That voltage range between 0 to 9 volt, not 0 and not maximum 9 volt, because we have used this resistance also. So as we are going to change R1 value, you can see my output is changing. So you can detect, you can read that voltage in the microcontroller, and your sensor light intensity will change. According to that, deflection will come in your voltage format, and your microcontroller can read that voltage signal in a very simple way. So that we have to use it. So there one more important point, whenever we are going to read any voltage signal in Arduino microcontroller, so how we are going to read it? So we can read maximum voltage, that is 5 volt. So that we can read over there, that is maximum voltage, that is 5 volt. So if you are going to give 9 volt from this 9 volt battery, this output if we are going to give to the Arduino, so Arduino will get damaged. That we have to take care. So that we have to do it. So over here, I'm going to use microcontroller and I'm going to interface this sensor over there, because this one is an analog sensor. So output we are getting over here, that is analog voltage. You can see this voltage is changing. So that is analog signal. So how to read any analog signal in the Arduino, and then after that we are going to discuss analog output also. So let's come back to the Arduino and let's make the circuit. This one is your voltage divider circuit. So whenever you are going to make circuit, you can save it over here with the name of voltage divider or whatever you want to do it. Voltage divider circuit. So that is voltage divider circuit. So over here you can see it. So what we can do over here. So now I'm going to open new project. So if I have to do reuse it, so what we can do, we can open new circuit and we will able to do it over there. So let me open my new project over here, create new circuit. Okay, over here what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect Arduino, and over there I'm going to interface. First of all, I'm going to read that voltage signal from Arduino to analog signal. We have to read it in the Arduino using potentiometer. So first I'm going to use potentiometer. It is also working as a variable voltage divider. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect it. There are 3 terminals. First one I'm going to connect with ground. This one is ground. This one is 5 volt. You can change color also, make it 5 volt. This one is signal wire. You can connect with any analog pin. So I'm going to use A0, A1, I'm going to use it. Anyone you can use it. So in A1, what we have to do it. So in A1, what we have to do it, we have to write code for A1 pin. Now we have to write code for A1 pin. So over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going in my code and let's see how it is working and how we can read any value over here. So this one is by default code. I'm going to delete it. That is for 30 number pin. Built-in pin is 30 number pin. That is inbuilt in the Arduino. Okay. So over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going in a input because we are reading it. So what signal we are reading? We are talking about today, that is analog signal. So today we are talking about analog read. So how we can do analog read? That is very much important over here. So now you can see it. I'm going in a input and take that second part, second block, that is read analog pin, that you can take it. Okay. So over here you can select pin number, that is A1. We are using A1 over here, A1. So after reading that value, we have to go to print it. So I'm going in a output and going to use serial print. Serial print, and over there I'm going to print that value. Okay. So after printing that value, we have to check it out that what value we are reading. Let it check and start simulation. So I'm starting simulation right now. And now let's see what value we are getting at the output. You can do fit to screen with the help of this, and you can start rotating it. As you are going to increase potentiometer from 0 to maximum, but value is coming over here 103. Why it is so? I have given maximum voltage over here, that is 5 volt. You can check it out also. This one we are giving, that is 5 volt. This one is ground, and this one is positive. Sorry, this one is output. So output, how much we are getting, that you can see it. At maximum you are giving output to this board, that is 5 volt, and minimum you are going to give, that is 0 volt. So you are giving voltage 0 to 5 volt to the Arduino, but it is reading in the format of 0 to 1023. So it is changing from 0 to 1023. Why it is so? Why it is happening? You have to tell me why it is happening. Why it is not reading directly in 5 volt? So it's reading in the format of 1023. What is the meaning of it? That you have to tell me in the chat box. Binary, yes. Anything else rather than binary? What format of binary, that also we have to understand. Yes, I'm looking forward for your response in the chat box. Why this one is reading 1023? Because we have given supply voltage, that is 5 volt. 5 volt we have given to A1 pin, but it is reading, that is 1023. Yes. Okay. For that 1023 division, why it is so? Why it is so? That why 1023 division is there? It is 10-bit number. Yes, it is 10-bit number. Yes, very good. Okay, let me explain you that how it is working. So let me come back to that PPT. 5 volt means 1023. Why it is the meaning of 1023? That I want to tell you. So let me come back to that PPT. Yes. So over here that I'm going to explain you that why that is happening. Okay. Yes, this one is analog input. So what is happening in the Arduino when we are going to do analog input? When we are going to do analog input, yes, very good. So what is happening? So when we are going to give analog input to the Arduino 0 to 5 volt. So Arduino is having a inbuilt ADC. Arduino is having inbuilt ADC. What is the meaning of ADC? ADC stands for analog to digital converter. So Arduino is having inbuilt ADC with a rating of 10 bit. So Arduino is having inbuilt ADC in their microcontroller 8MEGA328P. So that ADC is 10 bit. 10 bit means 2 raised to power 2 power 10. Okay. So that is equal to 1024. 1024. So means if we are going to give 0 volt, Arduino will be read 0, and when we are going to give 5 volt, Arduino will read 1023. Why not 1024? Because 0 is also counted in a binaries. So 0 is also one value. So total value is 0 to 1023. That is total 1024. Okay. So that's the meaning of it. Mean Arduino is having inbuilt ADC. So whenever we are going to give any kind of analog signal in the Arduino, Arduino will read in the format of 10 bit. Means it will magnify that value 0 to 5 volt to 0 to 1023. If you want to demagnify it, that also you can do it. There are some conditions, means some formula you have to use it, and with the help of that you will be able to make it. Okay, so let's see how you can do it over here. So over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a little bit more detail. So what formula, what syntax you have to write in the Arduino. So when you're going to do analog read, you have to write over there analog read. This syntax you have to write it. So this one is programming syntax for reading analog signal. That value we are going to read in the format of 0 to 1023. So these are, you can see, like 0 to 5 volt. So you are going to read via ADC. So a 2 raised to power n number of steps. So you are going to divide in number of steps over there using that ADC. So that ADC resolution and all that I'm not going to discuss in a detail. The simple way I just want to convey that in a 10-bit ADC, so it will divide it in 0 to 1023. That 0 to 5 volt will be divided in the format of 0 to 1023 value. So that ADC you can understand over here like this, resolution of ADC calculation, that also you can do calculation, and you can do conversion, whatever conversion you want to do, that you can do it. So that I'm not going to say right now, you can do with your own. So this one is the ADC output over here, that conversion and deconversion, that you can see it with the resolutions. So this one is a potentiometer. We are connecting over here and we are going to read it. So that circuit I made over there, how we have to connect potentiometer, how it is working, that I already shared with you. Okay. So now I'm coming back to practical, that how you can convert it back to 5 volt. So what formula you have to use over there for converting back to 5 volt. So this one value is coming in the format of 0 to 1023. You want that it should be displaying 0 to 5 volt. You are getting confused that we are giving 5 volt, but it is showing 1023. But you are saying that I want only 0 to 5 volt. So how you can do it? So you have to use one map function. So map function you have to use it. So what is the meaning of that map functions? That I'm going to explain it over here. Just see it. Yes. Just see it over here in a very simple way how map function is working. So I'm just going to use that formula. Just see it. At 1023 value, how much output voltage you are getting, that you are getting 5 volt. At one value, how much output you will get in a voltage format? 5 divided by 1023. Now I'm going to talk about X number or any number that we are reading at the serial monitor, that value we want to convert in a voltage. So the X value means we have to multiply it with X. So what we have to do, we have to multiply it with X. That we have to do it, or you can multiply over here X. Okay, so that is our formula for converting it again in 5 volt. Just suppose it, if X value is 1023, so what output you will get in the format of voltage? If X value is 1023, if you are reading this much value, what output you will see over here in this formula? What output is coming? You have to tell me. You have to tell me in the chat box. If X value is 1023, what output you will get? 5 volt. Okay. If X value is 0, what output you will get? 0 volt. If output X value is 0, what output you will get? 0 volt. Yes, 5 volt. Very good. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that same formula over here. For that, there is one internal function in the Arduino, that is mapping function. So that function we can use it over here. So that mapping function we can use it over here. So let's see how we can use that map functions. So okay, let me come to over here. Yes. So that map function I'm going to use it. So you have to go to math. Go to math. There is map function. Either you can use this formula or you can use that map function. Both thing is same. So now you can see map, range, this one. Okay, this map function you have to use it. So first what you have to do, you have to map this value. This value you are reading in the format of 0 to 1023. So this one is x. This one is our x. This value we are reading. So this value I want to map. So which range you want to map? This one is the range 0 to 180. So I want to convert it 0 to 5 volt. Just only I have to do this. So now my value get converted from 1023 to 0 to 5 volt. So it's mapped over here. So this value I want to print. So we have to print it like this. This complete block we have to put in the serial print. So now what is happening over here, you can see it. You will be able to start simulation. You can start simulation over here and you will be able to see output over here in the format of 0 to 5 volt. But you are not getting in a point, you only integer you are getting. So if you want to get in a point, then you have to select it float and you have to select one more variable, then only you will get able to get in a points also. So that also you can try it. For that you have to select one variable and then after that you have to store that value of map in a variable and that variable value you have to call it. For that you can do in advanced programming, not on this Tinkercad over here in a graphical. So graphical over here in a graphical you can do simple mapping and that mapping value output will become in the format of integer, not any binary or sorry, not any float. So this one is a simple map. So if you want to convert it in a reverse order, so I have written formula of just direct 1023 to you are converting from 0 to 1023 voltage to 0 to 5 volt. But if you want to do it in a reverse order, how you can do it? So I'm going to do it in the reverse order. Reverse order means the output should change from 5 volt to 0 volt. 5 volt to 0 volt. So let's see what is happening over here. At maximum value of potmeter, we will get 0 value. Okay, let's rotate it. Over here, 0 you are getting. At minimum value, you are getting 5 volt. So this one is also, we can use it. Now, what you have to do, you have to calculate that formula. You have to make a formula for this. So you have to design that formula for making it reverse 5 to 0 volt. So that formula you have to tell me tomorrow. That is your today assignment. That you have to make formula for converting it 5 volt to 0 volt. So 100 to 1023 value you have to convert it in a reverse order 5 to 0. So that formula you have to make it and you have to tell me tomorrow. That is your tomorrow assignment. Yes. So after reading it, now we have to use LDR sensor. So if you have to make any kind of project based on LDR, how you can make it? So like case example, I'm just sharing with you automatic street light. So how you can make that automatic street light? That is very important. So for that you have to use LDR sensor. So I'm going to use LDR sensor over here. So how you can use it? Go to this code. You can make take one resistance. So this one is our resistance. Again take one LDR. This one is my LDR. You can rotate it also if you want to rotate. Connect it. This one you have to connect with ground or 5 volt. This one I'm going to connect with ground. Okay. So after that, what you have to do, you have to get output from this point. So we are getting output from this point. So you can take same pin, A1 pin. Okay. Orange. So now after doing this, what we have to do, our circuit is ready. So we can check with multimeter also how much output voltage is coming, but I'm not doing right now. So you can try with multimeter also. So I just made a voltage divider circuit over here, same I did previously, that LDR. But I am giving supply over here that is 0 volt or 5 volt from the Arduino. So maximum voltage we are giving over here that is 5 volt. So our output will change from 0 to 5. So let's start coding. Coding is same. So no need to do any change in the coding. Coding is same. So you can map it in reverse order, 0 to 5, you can do it. So as you are going to start simulations, you are going to get output like this, 0 volt. As you are going to increase light intensity, your value is changing, so that you can see. But that range is 0 to 5, so if you want to get more accuracy, so you can directly use in the format of 10 bit. So you can use it in the format of direct 10 bit, no need to convert it. So I'm going to use it directly in 10 bit ratios. Let's see it, so that you can visualize it in a magnifying way. So I'm just going to map it and magnify it. So now you can increase it, that value is changing from 0 to some 600 approximate. That value you can take it 10 kilo ohm, so that more accuracy you will get. That value is 54 to 954. So now any condition you can put in between this. If you want to make automatic state light, how you can do it? You can directly so 5 into 1023 minus x. Okay, so some participant has written our formula over here. So just see it. If you are going to put x value 5, what output you will get? Okay, if you're going to put 0, or if you're going to put 5 volt, okay, x value is 1023. So you can try over here in this formula that some participant has shared, Chandana has shared that formula, that you can check it out and you can try it, that it is working or not. So you can put all the values 0 to 1023, and the 0 value you can put it, and 1023 you can put it, and you can check it out. 5 volt is coming or not coming at the output, that you can check it out. So if that is working, then it is okay. Otherwise, you have to troubleshoot it. So this one is conversions. You can do it. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect it over here, like this circuit is ready. So I'm going to make it automatic street light. So how we can make automatic street light? Just you have to put conditions. So what condition you can put over here? So what condition you can put? You have to use if and else condition. Go to control. And let me zoom it. Go to control, use if and else conditions. Same thing that we did it earlier. Over here, what I want to do, I want to get output. Sorry, we have to go to math, comparator. So then after that, we have to put that value over here. You can duplicate it also. And I want to make it greater than equal to. So this one value I'm going to make it 500. So you can take any value, whatever you want to take it. That should be in between 254 to 954. So that you can calibrate with the real time also, at what time you want to glow your LED on. So let's see what is happening. So you can see it also how it is working. Okay, so if this condition will get satisfied, what you will get? Your LED should be turned off. If this condition gets satisfied, you want that LED should be off. So you can take this pin, second block, LED, any pin you can take it for LED. So I'm going to take it 10 number pin, LED should be low, otherwise LED should be high. This one I have taken it. So LED low, LED high. So now let it check. We have to connect one LED at pin number 10. So at 10 number pin we have to connect one LED. So connect it. So now you can start simulations and you can check it out what is happening. So you are printing that value on the serial monitor also for checking it. So now at 54 value, your sensor is at fully darkness. Mean there is full darkness at your home. So at full darkness, what is happening? At full darkness, you will be able to see your light is on. As slowly, light intensity is increasing. that you can see LED brightness is decreasing, that you can see. So LED brightness is decreasing or LED will turn off. Again at full darkness, LED is on. At full brightness, LED is on, and that you can see it. So over here you can see it. This one is an automatic state light project. Mean light intensity high, so LED is off, light is off, and light intensity is when at darkness your LED is on. So automatic street light you can make it. Coding is same that we did it with analog read. So many application you can do with analog read. So that is about analog read input, and now we are going to discuss about analog output. So how we can give analog output. For giving analog output, we have to use some technique over here, that is PWM technique. So PWM stands for pulse width modulation, that I'm going to discuss right now. Then after that I will come over here, and with the help of that what we can do using PWM or analog output, we can control our home light intensity, we can control our fan speed. So many things, whatever you want to control, that you can do using that PWM pin. Otherwise from the digital you can make it high or low, but using that PWM technique you can control your light intensity, you can control motor speed, you can control your fan speed, you can control your cooler speed. Whatever you want to do, that you can do it. So what I'm going to do now I'm going to share with you that analog output. Okay, so this one we have to understand first that what is PWM technique. So this one is the PWM technique, that is that we have to use it for giving analog output signal. PWM stand for pulse width modulations, that is pulse width modulations, that you can see it over here. PWM stand for pulse width modulation. So over here you can see what is the meaning of it. So as a simple example I'm just going to tell you how it is working. So when we have to give any analog output signal from the microcontroller, so we cannot send analog signal from the microcontroller. Microcontroller will work in a binary logic, and it will give 0 and 1 signal at the output. Either we have to use DAC separately, or we have to some technique of timing. So that same technique we are using over here, that is known as PWM, for controlling output or sending output signal in the format of variable. Your microcontroller will give signal in the format of digital, but you are converting that signal in the format of analog. So how you can convert the digital signal in the format of analog, that is very important. That is known as PWM technique. So just take one example, just visualize it, with me. You are having a fan at your home. So at your home you are having a fan, and there is one button for controlling that fan. There is one switch for controlling that fan. With the help of that controlling, you can make it on and off. There is no regulator. Just suppose it there is no regulator. If there is regulator, then you can make it full speed. So what you are going to do, you are going to on your fan for 2 seconds, and you are going to off your fan for again 5 seconds. So 2 seconds is your on time and 5 seconds is off time, and you are doing it continuously. So what output you will get? You have to tell me. Again I'm repeating, you are having a fan at your home, you are turning it for on for 2 seconds and turning it off for 5 seconds. So what output you will get? So respond me in the chat box. What output mean? Output in terms of your fan speed. I'm just talking about your fan speed. So how much fan speed will be there? So when you are going to turn on your fan for 2 seconds and turning off your fan for 5 seconds, you are repeating it continuously. So what output you will get in the format of fan speed? So that you have to tell me in the chat box. Are you understanding it? 40%. Okay. I want to get response from all the participants. That is practical things. You can try it at your home also. You can try it and check it out also. That also you can do it. That on and off, but don't do it right now. If there is your family member is over there, they will see it like I mean, it is so much summer, so they will they will can do anything with you. So you have to take care because it's very tough to be in a room without fan. So okay, so mean that speed will be not full speed. I want to make it simply that you will not get 100% speed and your fan will not be fully off. Your fan will be not fully off or not at full 100% speed. So again, what you are going to do, you are going to increase that on time and off time. So now you are going to on for 10 seconds and going to off for 10 seconds, and you are doing it continuously. When 10 seconds is on time, 10 seconds is off time at your fan. So what will you will get? You will get 50% speed of your fan. So how these things is happening? That same technique we are using with the Arduino means we are controlling their on off time in the Arduino, and with the help of that, what we are going to get output? We are getting output that is average of that on off time. If on off time is 50%, then we are getting speed at the output that is 50%, and over here we are getting average voltage at the output that is 50%. That is PWM technique. So when we are going to write PWM, so that we have to write in the format of 8-bit, very important. So when we have to write analog output, so we have to write in the format of 8-bit. So when we are going to read any kind of analog signal, so we have to read in the format of 10-bit, or when we have to give any output signal, analog output signal, we have to write value in the format of 8-bit. So 8-bit we have to use over there. So like this, we have to write analog, write pin number and their value. Value should be that 8-bit value will be 0 to 255. You can see this one is your output. Mean this one is 5 volt. You can give maximum from the Arduino digital pins. So what you are going to do, you are turning it on, turning it off. So this one is the on time is less, off time is more over here. You are getting average voltage like this. If on time and off time is equal, that you can see 50% on time, 50% off time, you are getting average output voltage. That output voltage is that is 5 volt that is sorry, half of 5 volt, that is 2.5 volt. Similar way you can see over here that output over here on time is more, off time is less. You are getting approximate 90% output voltage of 5 volt, that you can see. So these pins you have to use it as a PWM. 1, 0, 9, 6, 5, 3. These pins you have to use as a PWM pin, not all other pins. So only these pins for giving analog output. So how this value is value you have to write? You have to write value in the format of 0 to 255. So you have to write value in the format of 0 to 255. That you can see it over here. 0 to 255. So when you are going to write 0 volt, 0 value, you are getting output 0 volt. So when you are going to write 255 value, so you are going to write over here that is 5 volt over here. That is 5 volt over here, that you can see. So Arduino PWM working on 8 bits, that you have to see it in a very simple way over here. Now what I'm going to do, that conversion factor you can make it over here accordingly, that how much output voltage you want, how much PWM value you have to set, that you can make conversion value of that in a very simple way, that we did it previously also with analog. Similar way you have to make it for PWM. Okay. So these are binaries bit like 2 raised to power and these values, how these values are coming. So I'm going to tell you practically it how it is working. Let's come back to Tinkercad. So over there I'm going to share it how this PWM technique is working. So this one is automatic street light project. Automatic street light project. You can save all the project, whatever you are going to make it. So this one is automatic street light project. So you can stop it and you can go back to home, and after that you can create your new, yes, you can create your new file. So over here, what we are going to do, we are going to create new circuit. Yes, this one is our new circuit. In this circuit, what we have to do, we have to use Arduino, or now I'm going to write code for PWM. So analog output, how you can write code, that is very interesting. So go to code, delete this block. So everything you can do with graphical also, and you can generate your embedded C code, or if you want to understand your embedded C code, that also you can understand it. So over here, what we have to do is go to output. We have to use third block. Third block is for analog output. That is for PWM pin. So over there only you will find PWM pins, not any other pins. So you can select any pins. So I'm going to select any 6 number pin. Any one pin you can select it. So now I'm going to write value 0 first. Then I'm going to use some delay. Then duplicate it. Then I'm going to use it over here. Some value, something like 50 or 100. So let's take it 100. So then after that you can duplicate these things. So after that I'm going to make it to, sorry, 100 to 1, okay, make it 200 also, or 180 you can take it, that is good one, you can visualize it, or 150 you can take it. So after that I'm going to take it one more, duplicate. Over there I'm going to make value 255. Okay, so this one 4 to 5 output I want to give. So you can change the delay also 2 seconds so that you can visualize it properly. Okay, 2 seconds each. So this output, how you can check it, that how much output voltage is coming. For that you can use multimeter. And now I'm going to show waveform also, that how waveform is coming. So let's do it. Over here what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect my multimeter with my pin number 6. I have used 6 number pin. So this one is 6 number pin, that is PWM pin, minus sign representing PWM. That is sign symbol. Okay, so over here, this one is my code. Let us check what output is coming. At 6 number pin, we are getting 0 volt. After that 1.96. After that 2.9592. After that 5 volt. So this code is working. Then we are just writing value in the format of duty cycle, and our output is changing 0 to 5 volt. So we are getting variable output. Now what I want to see, I want to see that value in the format of scope. Scope means that waveform I want to see over here. So how I can see that waveform? So you can search over here scope. Scope, over there in the scope, you will be able to make a connection over here like this. Negative you have to connect with ground. This one is negative. So negative you can connect with ground, and so that value you can connect it. Now I'm going to connect that scope. So I'm going to connect with same 6 number pin and going to check waveform of that output. Let's see how you can check waveform, that how our duty cycle is changing. So now you are able to see it over here, but you are not able to visualize it. So how you can visualize it properly? So let me increase it a little bit. So the duty cycle is changing, but you are not able to see it properly. So I'm going to change some time. So make it 1000 and make it microsecond. Now it is working good. Now you can see it. This one is your duty cycle. At different timing, in a different value like 0, at 200, 100, 150, 255, your duty cycle is changing. Now you can see 295, and after that, how much it is changing. After 2 seconds, it will change. Wait for some time, because now it is working slowly. Now it is working slowly, so it is now 1.95. You can see on time is less and off time is more over here. That you can visualize it practically over here, so that you can do it. So now you can see 2.92. On time is more, off time is a little bit less. So at 5 volt, you will get on time is more, off time is 0. So one more value I want to change it over here. Like I want to make it 200. Let's see what is happening at 200. So over here, yes, value 1.94. You can see it at 200. You will able to see a few more values. Lot of difference you will able to see at 200. Yes, you can see on time is more, off time is less. So you can visualize it practically over there. You can visualize it practically over there in a very simple way, that you can see it over there. So over here you can see it. So that is duty cycle. So you can you are giving output in the format of duty cycle on off, and you are getting it over here that average voltage. You are giving high and low with the different on off timing. You are getting output that is variable. So you can control your appliance with the help of this, and you can vary your LED light intensity. That also you can vary. You can vary motor speed also. That also you can vary. So I'm going to replace it. I'm going to connect one motor over here. I'm going to show that how PWM is working and how my motor is changing my speed. So this one you can connect with ground. This one we are going to connect with 6 number, because we are giving output to 6 number. Now you can see RPM of my motor is 2000 at this condition. So after that my RPM will get increased according to my value. According to my value, you can see the on time is more, off time is less. The value is 4000 something like that over here, that you can see it in a very simple way. Okay, so that you can do it. Is there any doubt in PWM technique? Is there any doubt in PWM technique? If there is any doubt, that you can ask. After that, you can use some more, like if you want to, this one we just going to change variable. These are changing manually one by one. If we want to change it with potentiometer, that also we can do it. So now I'm going to use map function over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use map functions, and I'm going to take one variable also. So take one variable, create one variable over here with the name of port meter. This variable I have created over here, port meter. So what we have to do, we are going to connect one potentiometer. So go to output, go to input, read potentiometer value, read analog signal, and after that we have to convert that value. That value we have to store in a port meter also, we can do it, and let's store it in a variable, that is port meter, set it. So whatever value we are reading from that analog pin, that value we are storing in a variable with the name of port meter. So that value we can read from any pin. Okay. After that, what we have to do, we have to convert that value in the format of 0 to 255. So value we are reading over here in the format of 0 to 1023. Now we are going to map it 0 to 255, so that we can change our output, variable output we can make mean we can control our motor speed. So how we can control that motor speed? That I'm going to tell you. So go to math, use map functions, map. In the map, what we have to do it, we have to take variable. What we want to map it. So this voltmeter. Okay, one more variable we have to take it one more variable, that is PWM or motor speed. I'm going to take it motor speed. So this one is motor speed. So this value I want to set in a motor speed. This one is value I'm going to set it in a motor speed. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, this value, what value where you want to use this map function, you can use only this value also, you can use it, or okay, I'm going to use port meter. So port meter value that we are reading it over here, over there, I'm going to map that value of potentiometer value from 0 to 255, because we have to map it in the format of 8 bit. So 250, 102 value to, I'm going to map in the format of 0 to 255. So what I did, I just took two variable. In one variable I have stored my analog sensor value, and that value, after that I have taken one more variable, that is motor speed, and in that motor speed that value is stored in the format of 0 to 255. That value of potentiometer get converted in the format of 0 to 255 over here. Now what I'm going to do over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run it, but before that we have to give output also. So how we can give output? For giving output, what we have to do, go to output, take third block, and over here we have to write that value. Which value? Motor speed. So go to variable, take motor speed and write over here. So if you want to print it, that also you can do it, but I'm not going to print it. Start simulations. But before that, we have to connect potentiometer. So we have to connect potentiometer over here. So how we can connect potentiometer? That we did it earlier also. So that potentiometer, I'm going to connect it over here. This one is my potentiometer. So over here, I'm just going to connect it in a very simple way. Let's see how you can connect it. So over here, how you can connect it in a very simple way. Let's see it. So 3 wire is there, that we did it earlier. I'm just going to make it quick. I'm going to make it quick. So you can connect it with ground. And after that, you can connect it with this one with signal. Signal you can connect with A0, and this one you have to connect with 5 volt. So after making connection, you can start simulations. So it's showing some error over there. So what is error over here? Let me check it. So let me reduce that size. So start simulation again, check it error, what error is there. Declaration in the scope, so there is some issue with variable. So I'm going to remove that variable over here. One variable, I'm going to remove it. Okay, this one, that port meter variable, I'm going to remove it. Only this value directly I'm going to use it over here. Let me map it, remove that port meter. Analog value directly, you can read it. So that potmeter value is not needed over here. Just I used only one variable, that is motor speed. Motor speed. So you can remove it. You can remove it. Okay. This one is only over here. This one you can see it over here in a very simple way. So that you can do it over here. Yes. So I'm going to run it. Start simulations. So again, it's showing some error. No, it's not showing error now. Yes, it's showing some error. You can refresh it also. If there is some issue or some error is there, you can refresh it. So again, you can check code. So you are reading simply set motor value. You are going to use it. Analog pin A0 value 0 to 255 mapping. You are doing reading analog pin motor speed. Yes, all values are correct. So over here again, I'm going to start simulations. Again, it's showing error void motor was not declared in the scope. Okay, motor speed. So there is some issue with motor speed. Okay. Motor speed is variable. Delete motor speed variable. Okay. Okay, motor connection at 3 number pin. Okay, let me check it. Motor connection is okay. Only there is one issue with variable. The variable हमने जो define किया उसके अंदर कुछ issue आ रहा है. So that we have to write it in a simple way. So let me check it again. Motor is okay. So yes, space is creating problem. So variable. Let me check it. Rename variable. Only motor we can write it. Only motor I'm just writing it. Okay. So motor also you can use it. To start simulation now, you can check it. Now it is working fine. Only that motor variable, that syntax is issue over there. So now it is working. You can see it in the code. So what I'm going to do now, you can rotate it. It should be work, but let me see the code. We are mapping in a motor value. What value we are reading from 0 number pin, and after that we are converting that value in the format of 0 to 255, and that motor value we are writing it 0 to 255. It should be work, and pin number we are using, yes, that is 3 number pin. We have to use it 6 number. Yes, start working now. So now it is working. Our code is working now. You can see. Now you will able to visualize it in a good way. So how you can visualize it? Just see it. So that you can see it in a very simple way over here. So how it is working? As you are going to increase your potentiometer, you can see your duty cycle is changing 0 to maximum. At maximum it is 100% duty cycle, and motor speed is also changing. So that also you can see it over there in a very simple way. So now what I'm going to do, again I'm changing that value in my potmeter, and output is changing. You can see how time is on and off time is changing over here using this PWM technique. That you can visualize like this. Yes. So 100% duty cycle, fully 100% on. Now on time is continuously decreasing and off time is continuously increasing as I'm going to reduce my analog input. So my speed is changing from 0 to maximum, so that I can change it with my potentiometer. That is reading value and writing at the output. That you can do it. Yes. So now I'm going to sum up it over here. If there is any doubt to any participant, that you can ask. Yes. So I have used 6 number pin. Yes, coding you can see that is 6 number pin. Earlier we have used it 3 number. So we have to use it 6 number pin. Okay. So that is analog input and analog output, digital input and digital output already we have discussed. So that these are basic things in the Arduino, so that we can do it, and we can perform some project. So tomorrow we are going to perform IoT applications, that how we can send that data, whatever data we have acquired, how we can send that data to the cloud. So if there is any queries, any doubt, that you can ask right now from over here. Yes, please. Don't worry, we will make it little bit faster. So tomorrow session I will increase a little bit faster speed. So don't worry about it. I will cover up all these things, because these things are essential, because when we are going to send data on the IoT, and if you don't know about sensor interfacing, then you will face problem. So I will share all the PPT with the coordinator tomorrow onwards, or day after tomorrow. So after that you will get PPT. Okay, is there any kind of queries that you want to ask, that you can ask? Okay. Okay, thank you so much. If there is any queries, if you want to ask, that you can ask. Optimum current in potentiometer is same as I told you. So that current should be in a milliampere or microampere, so that there should not be power loss over there. So any resistance value of 10K or 150 kilo ohm, that you can use it for that potentiometer, so that that can work fine over there. So if you are going to use as a sensor, so if you are going to use potentiometer for some operating any appliance, then you have to use less resistance value over there, so that according to your device current requirement, you can optimize it, that you can do it. Okay, thank you so much. Once please you how to write code from start of Tinkercad. Okay, so how we can write code from the start? I'm just giving you a quick idea that when you're going to write code in the Tinkercad, so what you have to do, let me delete this code. So just go to blocks. In blocks, you will find all the blocks are over there: output, control, math, input. If you want to learn about it, that I told you one more technique, that is Scratch. Over there in that Scratch software, you will able to understand it in a very simple way, that how this graphical coding is, and you can learn it in a very simple way over there. Okay, you are not able to see blocks, so first you have to stop your simulation. After stopping simulation, you will able to see that block. So over there you will find that block, and you will able to select any kind of block output input, and after that you will able to see. If again if you are not able to see, you can send me a screenshot and I will troubleshoot it. Okay. So thank you so much. So thank you all the participants. Thank you so much. So tomorrow we are going to discuss about IoT application, and I will discuss one part with Bluetooth. interface for controlling our home appliance. And after that, I'm going to discuss about cloud, how you can send data on the cloud using Arduino and Raspberry Pi. And one more programming language also I'm going to tell you, that is also graphical programming, that also I'm going to discuss in upcoming sessions. So thank you so much. Yes, you can use multiple number of push button also for different application. As I said with you piano circuit, that piano also you can make it. But due to time limitation, I'm not going to share with you piano code. So you can make it with your own. So that piano you can make it. I'm just giving you a quick idea that I have shown you earlier. You can make it piano also yet, with the Arduino and connecting multiple LEDs over there. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Should I leave, sir, right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So we
sir.
can end the meeting.